Hello and welcome to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 19, episode 6, and today we're coming towards the end of the January transfer window, and we've got a tough away game against Tottenham Hotspur, often title challenges in the past, but now drifting down a league very slightly, currently in 12th place on 33 points. Of course, they're still only 5 points off 5th place Chelsea, so it could all turn round for them very quickly, but it's the second season in a row they've started to struggle, so hopefully we'll be able to get 3 points today. Diego Simeone's side have often done well against us in the past, but we have started to turn that tide in recent years, and they've got a couple of key injuries today, but we're missing our Brazilian sensation Omar too. Our highest average rating and assist maker he is, most player of the match awards too, so his presence in the centre of midfield is certainly going to be missed today, but hopefully we'll be able to do the job either way. Of course, as it's January, we've got a few players unhappy too, which we'll go and have a look at in a moment, but we're still the top scorers in the league and best for goals conceded, and we've now regained our 6-point lead at the top with 2 games remaining in hand as well. United just drawing too many games, only lost 2 all season, which is pretty remarkable, but 9 draws compared to our 3, and even if we draw our 2 in hand, it'll still be a pretty good outcome. After today's game, we face Liverpool on transfer deadline day. That's going to be an interesting one as they're currently up in 3rd place, but I think we should be running away with the title this year, and we've got other things to focus on as well later in the season. So let's start with the dynamic screen to see who's unhappy this January window. Ray Probert wants to leave for first team football, as does Bruno Moraes, the left back. I've got no problem with letting Moraes go, but I'm just waiting for Zatinho, who's out on loan, to see if he'll sign a new contract yet. But despite these unhappy players, the dressing room atmosphere is perfect. Laurent Brunet wants a new deal, but he sort of understands why we can't give it to him, although he has been a little bit of an influence in the dressing room, causing some negativity with his complaining. And then Jack McMahon wants to leave the backup keeper. Again, no problem with it, we just need a replacement, and it's got to be a homegrown one in the country, so that's what's taking a little bit of time. But don't be surprised in the next episode if a couple of those guys are gone, but I wouldn't have thought too many will move, as we're doing pretty well, we don't want to rock the boat. But let's go and have a look at what's happened so far in January. We've pre-agreed 1 more transfer, and we've let 1 player leave the club as well. So Robert Priesler is the one coming in, a right winger from Sparta Prague, 17 years of age, and he'll join next January once he's reached the 18 and can move abroad, of course, so we'll never get to see him in the flesh, but if anyone does take over this save, you'll have this guy to manage. A really good young winger, electric, quick, decent technically, mentally not quite developed as much yet, but fingers crossed that'll change over the next few years. He's starting to make a presence in the Sparta Prague first team, so at this age I'd imagine he's going to be quite good. And then if we go to our transfer history for the other route, only a temporary one on loan to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and it's James Smith, the young striker. Just because he's fallen behind Brown in the pecking order, he's come on leaps and bounds and has overtaken James Smith, and as a result we wanted him to get first team football. He's already made his debut for the Germans. So a pretty uneventful January by our standards. I guess the last couple have reflected the fact we're extremely successful. Now we've reached the top end of the game, we do the big transfer business in the summer, improve those 1 or 2 areas we desperately need, and then in January we don't really do a great deal, just 1 or 2 little changes to keep people happy. We are struggling to get a few signed to contracts this year. Zatinho we've mentioned already, Ruiz Diaz the centre half's out on loan, he's thinking about it as well, and a couple of the midfield players we've got out on loan are not sure whether to sign new deals with us. There's a few more with just 18 months remaining as well, the likes of Carl McDonald and Stojanovic the keeper, and again they want absolutely massive money, so we'll revisit that once the window's shut. But let's go and have a look at the schedule so you can see what's been happening off camera. You were with me last time for the Club World Championship final as we beat Boca Juniors 4-0, and of course this is the last season before our FM20 save, so we won't see competitions like that for many months. We'll be starting at the bottom again in our long-term one club story. We announced the club we'll be managing in yesterday's episode, so do go back and catch up with that one if you haven't seen it already, and I hope you're ready to strap yourself in for another long-term one club challenge. We've also in the previous weeks announced all of our FM20 plans, including the club we'll be managing in our beta save, and there's a vote there to allow you to choose our other long-term story, so make sure you catch up with all the FM20 videos. But since our Boca Juniors victory and adding another new trophy to the cabinet, we've been unbeaten with just one game we haven't won. We beat Wolves just before Christmas, Andrade and an Omar brace, and then we beat Watford in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, Malik Kante with 2 goals, and Andrade and Yaladian scoring as well. Then the same opponent on New Year's Day in the Premier League, a disappointing draw on this occasion. Omar again with the goal to equalise after Hakeem had put Watford ahead just after the break. He really is a big miss, Omar, always turns up in the big games, and we're going to be without him for the next couple as well, so I'm hoping someone else will step up to the plate. We played my beloved Luton Town in the FA Cup third round, Keita Souza and a Camp brace putting them to the sword. Cant of course a former Watford player in this save, so I'm sure he will have enjoyed his 2 goals. And then away to Brentford in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, Souza, Brown and Probert with the goals, Brown getting his first one for the club actually, a really brilliant moment for him, and Probert coming back into first team action with a bang as well. A 2-0 win followed at home to Middlesbrough, comfortable with an own goal in the first half, and then backing us early in the second, doubling our lead, a pretty comfortable road to the final whistle from there. Then a 2-1 win against Southampton, partly due to a red card late on. They were coming back into it at 2-1. They actually took an early lead in the game as well. Kante and Andrade turning it around, and then Ferrero's red card making the closing stages easier. A 3-0 win against Villa in our last Premier League game as well. Andrade with a brace including a late goal, and Torquay Hull doubling our lead with a header. And then a 4-2 win at home to Brentford in the second leg of that Carabao Cup semi-final. Of course securing our place in the final for the second time. Lemaitre, Keita, Cant and Andrew Brown again. He's certainly come to life in the Carabao Cup, and fingers crossed that'll build his confidence. Then a 4-0 win in the FA Cup as well. Diogo Souza with a hat-trick from the right wing. Of course a late penalty contributed to that, with Maddie Keita getting his first goal since returning. So against Tottenham today we've got pretty much everyone available, just Omar out missing now, and of course Maddie Keita's knackered after the weekend, probably one of his first starts since he returned. And then after this one before the next episode, we've got the resumption of our Champions League campaign and our FA Cup run, another couple of big Premier League matches, and then we'll be back for the Carabao Cup final. So let's go and have a look at the lineup for today, and the team we're going to be putting out against Spurs. I wonder whose favourites. It is us very slightly, although Tottenham have the far better head-to-head record. 5 victories in a row in all competitions though, so the lads should be pretty confident into this one. Let's have a look at the team we've picked in the expanded Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's certainly going to be an interesting game, and one that we should be able to get a result in. We've got Stojanovic in goal as the sweeper keeper, Cura and Wagner the fullbacks, and Singi's ended his unhappiness, so he returns at centre-half, playing alongside last season's partner McDonnell. Then backing is Kante and Brunet in a midfield 3, with Yaladian and Silla on the wings and Andrade up front. Andrade's reached 20 for the season, Yaladian's got into double figures, and Gracia still only has 1, but he's on the bench, so maybe he'll get on later today. A really decent squad, though there are some problems in central midfield. Keita not quite fit enough to play 2 games in 3 days, and Lemaitre a relatively weak option on the bench, but Probert's form started to dip again. So let's go and get into it. Fingers crossed we won't need those backup midfielders, but if we do, it is my one area of concern, so hopefully Tottenham won't push us in that position. Well, it's a 4-1-4-1 for Spurs, a very defensive formation at home. They've got guys on the right wing, a player who's caused trouble for us in the past, and Jones Dodd, who's fairly experienced now at right back, but he's a very good player too. And then the last one I recognise is Murdoch, the centre-half. He's always popping up on our scout reports. He really is a world-class defender. 91 still his scout summary, 4-star ability, 4.5 potential, but unfortunately we've got 3 better centre-halves, so he's not going to be joining us anytime soon. Never a priority position, so until McDonnell ages he won't be coming here. We tell the lads to pick up where they left off. Andrade's of course motivated. He's been brilliant for us all season, so hopefully he'll bag a couple of goals in this one. It's Jones on the left to Santos as Tottenham keep possession from the kick-off. A good start for them, but it's conceded to Kante, and the highlight ends with no danger to either goal. 5 minutes on the clock and it's Jones Dodd with a free kick in our half. Gruber finds Parakambi in the middle, runs into the box unopposed and shoots. Stojanovic dives and he was beaten, but thankfully it's just over the bar as well. 10 gone and we've had our first warning sign. It's very rare we've not had a shot in the first 10 minutes. We seem to have rectified that in the following 10, but none of them have been good enough to see on camera. Half an hour gone and news from the other game. Our closest title rivals United are losing. They're away to Bournemouth, who move up to 6th of its stands, but we're yet to see an attacking highlight that hopefully Andrade can spark one here. He goes back to Silla in his own half. Back to Wagner, the left back. We're trying to start again and build patiently, but that lack of composure in central midfield and missing our first 2 or 3 options is obviously taking away a bit of our control in this game. Gruber dominating the possession there. Wagner heads it away, but it's straight back to him. He finds Laurent, the holding midfielder, and now Parakambi in the middle. Out to Geis on the right wing. Good switch of play which Cura intercepts. Kante heads further and for the second time, but Santos still has it for Spurs. Into English in the box, who shoots, rattles the woodwork, but the flag had gone up. He's judged to have been offside and the highlight ends. Laurent with the ball again for Tottenham. Really dominating this match so far. Slightly more possession and more shots on target, something I'm not used to seeing in recent years. Santos tries to cross, but it's blocked out to Kante. Now Yaladian brings it into Bacanes. Can we finally create something, because we come out slowly and we're really struggling to get the ball forward. Silla can dominate on the left wing here though. Beats the sliding challenge and delivers. Andrade with a glancing header at the front stick, but it's just over the bar and we still haven't threatened the target. A long ball forward from Tottenham to Geis. Wagner does brilliantly the left back to intercept. A world class defender, and he showed why there. Brune can take up possession. He finds Kante in the centre circle. Yaladian finds Cura on the overlap. He's going to run at the defender here. He tries to cross early, but it's blocked back to Kante and now Bacanes. Kante plays a 1-2 and finds Yaladian. Bacanes tries to get it out to the right, but it's blocked, and Cura brings it down again for Brune. We are starting to get a foothold in this match. Wagner into the box on the left hand side. His cross is blocked, but it's straight back to him, and he just takes the safe option to Bacanes. Kante shoots from the middle of nowhere. No backlift, and it's a brilliant effort, and Brose tips it wide for a corner. Yaladian delivers to the back post, and Singi loses out to Montero, but it's going to be yet another corner from the other side. This one an outswinger from Yaladian. A chance to get on the end of it perhaps. Parakambi heads away for a third one. A succession of corners which aren't really leading to anything, and I don't know why we needed to see the first 2. McDonald loses out in the air for the third one, though he does regain possession on the right wing. The highlight ends, and I don't know why we saw it, and it looks like it's going to be goalless at the break. 0-0 then at half time. Pretty poor game in truth. We really haven't put in many poor performances this season, but this one's certainly going to count as one of them. 5 players seem motivated based on our team talk as we tell the lads to get out there and prove what they can do. McDonald finds Wagner as we keep possession. We are just lacking that dominance in the middle. You can see Brune's got a rating of 6.4, Malik Kante's is only 6.6, but our only option on the bench is Lemaitre, and he's not really an attacking player either. Cura finds McDonald, who mops up well. Now Brune, who picks it up in midfield. Is he finally going to create something special? At the moment he's keeping it very safe. He is unhappy, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, and unfortunately that's showing in his performances. He was complaining about a new deal and previously about first team football, but he's not really doing his chances any good here. Kante and Bacanes keeping it in the middle, and Singi doing well to offer an option, and Brune does find a key pass in the end. Silla crosses it into Andrade. He heads it wide to the far post. He just couldn't direct it, but it was a good through ball by Brune. An hour gone now and it is still 0-0, and Singi picking up a yellow card, but it has been a better performance in the second half, as we're going to tell the lads we demand more. A few of them are nervous and apprehensive, and we've got to try and get that out of them, and I've no idea why those feelings are starting to show now. It's not something we've struggled with at any stage. But 20 minutes remaining and Wagner's got a free kick at left back, into Brune in the middle. That is woeful. He's just stepped on the ball and given it back, almost like the jokes about Fred in real life at United the last couple of weeks. Terrible play from Brune, and our Spurs are up on the counter. Nozov holding the ball up front, a player that's definitely scored against us in the past. I remember the name very well now, as Viqueira finds him again. His shot straight as Stojanovic, who saves, and he does well to hold the ball as well. So Brune's coming off, we're not waiting any longer. Kante will go as the advanced playmaker, Lemaitre as the Mazzala. We probably haven't seen him on camera this season, so it is going to be nice to see him in action. Andrade will be replaced by Gracia, probably won't help our goal scoring chances, and Yaladian's going to be replaced by Souza, who's fresh off a hat-trick in the FA Cup. Just over 10 minutes remaining and we're back with a long throw on the left for Cura. Wagner delivers and it's away to Lemaitre. Baccanes has time to shoot. He's been forced backwards to Nsingi though. And Lemaitre again trying to find the pass. He does to Kante who shoots. But it whistles just wide of the far post for Spurs. And it remains 0-0 into the last 10. Lemaitre gets the ball from a throw in again. Had a good impact so far. McDonald picks it up on the left and loses it. But Wagner's there to mop up. Up to Silla the winger. Good ball in but it's straight at the keeper. Marco Gracia hadn't read the run. I'm probably being harsh, I don't know if he could have made that, but it's still 0-0 and that's the most important stat. Herrera knocks it down and Lemaitre clears, only as far as Viqueira though, and Gruber out to the right hand side to Geis. We know that he is one of their danger men. Over to Viqueira on the other side, beats one man and shoots. Good stop by Stojanovic and it's cleared behind by Cura. It's going to be taken by Gruber though, an in-swinging delivery for Spurs, and we've got to try and get on the end of this. It is headed away well. It's Kante who gets away to the second ball. Herrera brings it down for Montero. Murdoch, the man we talked about pre-match, holds it up, but the highlight ends with 5 remaining. Still 0-0, but we've struggled to make an impact in this game. Only 2 shots on target in 85 minutes. I'd like to know the last time we managed that. 4 minutes remaining, it's a Sousa corner. McDonald gets up but loses out. Lemaitre does really well to win possession though, and just takes the simple route back to Silla. Cura with a long ball forward. Jones-Dodd heads away but only as far as Kante. His shot's blocked and it falls to him again, and it goes out to Wagner on the byline. Good delivery and Gracia challenges, but it's straight into the arms of Ambrosi the keeper. Another throw on the right, this time for Cura. Lemaitre plays a 1-2 with him. It's back to Baccanes who finds Sousa, shoots and it curls just wide. We're dominating the match in the late stages of the game, but we're not able to create anything clear cut. It's a long ball into the box from Spurs, free kick which they've just pumped in there. Eventually it falls to Viqueira, but his cross is blocked out to Jones. Nozov on the end who scores. We had a little glitch there and we've thrown it away. Tottenham to win it in the 90th minute, and what an awful performance it's been. Not been at our best, but when we look strongest in the last 10, we've managed to lose concentration and lose it. Wagner's the man who lost his man in the box, and now we're trying to chase the game in stoppage time. It's Kante in the middle who finds Wagner, trying to make up for his error there. The cross is blocked and it's out for a throw-in, and we've only got about 45 seconds left. It's a throw for Cura who will take it. He's got Wagner there if he can find him. He does, and it's got to be a good delivery. They're all offside. Lemaitre gets it on the edge to Sousa, and his cross is blocked as well. It was a bad decision to bring Gracia on, as we've got no goal threat when Andrade's not on the pitch, but Kante has done well in that role as he gets it out wide to Sousa. Delivery's blocked and it's going to be a goal kick, and I'm afraid we're going to lose 1-0 to Tottenham. The first defeat in ages, and you've seen it on camera. We're obviously just getting a bit camera shy in the big games. Nozov, the man we mentioned, won it in the 90th minute. Off the bench we knew he was a threat, but it was a disappointing result and performance, and we've got to go and see what United did too. Well, thankfully United lost as well, so we've still kept that 6-point lead with 2 games in hand, but it really isn't a very good performance for us, and it's something we've got to be a little worried about. We fall to a late defeat in a really poor even game, and we finally lose after 5 matches in a row without one, probably not quite as long as we thought. Gracia trying to stay focused, but he hasn't scored in absolutely ages. We're going to try and keep the faith on him, but I can't do it for long. The youngster Andrew Brown is flying in the cups, and we're going to have to give him a chance before long. We'll deal with the press conference and the rest off camera, as well as preparing for the rest of the January window, but as we mentioned a bit earlier, we'll be back in around a month's time for the final of the Carabao Cup at Wembley, a chance to add another trophy in our final year and improve our legacy yet further. It's going to be a tough game against Liverpool, who are doing well in third in the league, but of course if we play at our best we can win, and our key player Omar will be back for that one. So no more Lauren Brunet in the big games, and that can only benefit us moving forward. But if you did enjoy this episode, even if it was just seeing us get beat for once, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Almost going back to the earlier years of the series, where we used to lose and get drawn into relegation battles early in the season, before recovering late on to save ourselves. So fingers crossed we won't have too many more disappointments, particularly as we try to chase trophies and play in cup finals like the next episode. Hopefully you're looking forward to it. We've got 4 days left of the January window too, so let me know if there's any action you think we need to move on. But personally I think our squad's pretty strong. The only weak area today was central midfield, and we'll have Cater and Omar back for that one, so fingers crossed for the running they'll be superstars and solve some of the problems we had in today's game. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from the end of next week. The beta's due for release at that point, and we'll have 2 episodes a week from our FM20 beta save and 5 a week from our new One Club story. Make sure you go back to our FM20 plans video as well and get your vote in for the second long-term story on the channel. I'm interested to know your thoughts on which one we should go for, and of course we'll go with the majority. In the meantime, we'll be finishing this episode with daily content until the end of the season, and we've also got the last one of our Snooker 19 career coming up on Friday, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that one. And then our Cricket 19 career continues Tuesday and Saturday at midday, 2 episodes a week moving forward now, so come and check out our progress in that one. There have been some relatively big milestones in the last few episodes. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support of the channel as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for another important episode as we try to win the Carabao Cup final.